Epstein survivors were left stunned and angry after a meeting with Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. Republican Senator Thom Tillis issued an ultimatum to Blanche to take that meeting if he wants to win his vote at the committee stage of the confirmation hearings. Survivors knocked Blanche for his approach to the meeting, saying he was abrasive and condescending. Blanche said the meeting was, quote, not all cordial, adding survivors want some form of justice he does not think he can deliver. Here's how another survivor described Blanche's tone.
It was demoralizing, to say the very least. He completely talked around questions. He didn't give transparent answers. It felt like more political posturing and using survivors the way that we've been used as political pawns.
Joining me now is Jess Michaels, performer, educator, entrepreneur, and survivor who was in the room for that meeting. Jess, I'm glad to see you as always, but I want you to take us behind the scenes. How did Blanche set the tone after survivors in some cases had waited, 30 years for a meeting like this? Did you sense that he cared about pursuing justice, or did he take the meeting for the sake of saving his nomination?
It was very clear he was taking the meeting because he wants this promotion. Because initially what was passed off to us was meeting with his assistant. And when we said no, he then scrambled and he said, okay, well, I could be there before 2 o'clock, but we had already left the Capitol. And so we couldn't get there before 2 o'clock. And we requested another meeting. And finally, he agreed to personally meet with us at 4:30 in the afternoon on Thursday. And I mean, I think his attempt at empathy and compassion really came off as patronizing and condescending. So I did not feel that he was a public servant there addressing crime victims that experienced horrific abuse, not just from the person that had abused us, but from the system that was supposed to protect us. There was no acknowledgement of that part of the story.
I'm curious how long the meeting lasted. He met you about 4:30? Mm-hmm. How long were you all with him?
Yeah, it was supposed to be 30 minutes, and we kept him there till 6 o'clock, till pretty much 6 o'clock. It was a long meeting. It was very tense. There was, I have to tell you, we agreed on one thing. There was one thing that everyone in the room agreed upon, which was interesting. He agreed that the previous FBI agencies had just completely botched the investigation. And I said out loud, I said, yes, I said there was a lack of investigation, like when we gave leads. And he said, yes. And he pointed to me and he said, yes, a lack of investigation. And my next question, but then I didn't get a chance to ask it because we were cut off. My next question was going to be if this Department of Justice agrees that this was a botched FBI investigation over 20 plus years, who investigates the FBI when they botch investigations, when we're sitting there telling you that the information is in the files? And he could not agree that there were any existing leads in the files as they are right now. He would commit to nothing. He would not commit to looking for the rest of Maria's report that she gave in 1996. He wouldn't commit to any hope for us, or any good faith measure of, hey, we've got the files, sure. Let me get a team on it to look through it. We hear you. So if you just keep saying there's nothing there, we're not going to investigate this, that's somebody not hearing you over and over and over again. And it's extremely frustrating.
Another aspect of the files is that Annie Farmer pointed out Blanche refused to release DOJ documents on internal discussions about charging Epstein, adding that explanations for his 9-hour interview with Ghislaine Maxwell and then her transfer to a less secure prison were dissatisfactory and contrived. I mean, these seem like reasonable requests. Did he go anywhere near answering those?
He did not. And I can't tell you how many different times and how many different ways the survivors in the room that had their information leaked, no matter how many ways they described how harmful it was, he could not take responsibility for that at all. In fact, he seemed confused why we had demanded him and not his human trafficking expert. He couldn't seem to understand, like, well, I don't really know what it is you want from me. I didn't ask you guys to commit to anything, so I'm not going to commit to anything. He really evaded responsibility by being confused about why we were even there and why we were talking to him.
You know, you bring up a good point, and I want to have our director, Josh, play the soundbite from Danielle Bensky. She is a teacher, but she is one of those who had unredacted details about her life released. Josh, let's play this.
These documents contain disturbing yet incomplete accounts of my abuse. They were available not only for the entire world to see, but my child, my students, my friends, my employers, my colleagues, and my family. It was humiliating. Worse, my FBI 302 exposed a Jane Doe who had fought for decades to conceal her identity. It's been absolutely devastating.
How did Blanche defend that?
He didn't. He didn't respond to any of those concerns. He minimized what we were saying. He kind of glossed over it, and it felt like we were hitting a brick wall when we were trying to talk with him about, but what about this? But why can't you look at that? You know, we were giving him information that he could have talked with us about, but we were gaslit, we were skipped over. It was frustrating, to say the least.
Jess Michaels, thank you for coming on and illuminating so much that we just don't know about. It was important that you do so, and we will see if there's any reaction on Capitol Hill from those who have to consider his confirmation coming up, thanks to what you've talked about. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you.